And look at what I found. That, I'd say, is a burnt earth cable. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm currently sat in another car. Basically, I want a diesel for the winter. As the Range Rover, also known as the Money Pit, is coming up with more and more problems every time I look at it. I've now got speedo gauge cluster all in all's not working. I've got no fuel, I've got no temperature, I've got no speedo, and I've got no revs, and I've got no information screen. So I'm going to probably end up breaking that, to be honest, because I'm getting sick to death of fixing one problem, because I've just bought tyres for it and then something else goes wrong. So I might look at it later on at some point in a different video, but anyway, we're not here for that one. As I posted, as you've probably seen, I posted on Instagram and Facebook a couple of months ago now with a set of wings for a car. Now, you've probably guessed it, it's a Mondeo ST TDCi. And no, I'm not sat in it. I am sat in a Mondeo, but I'm actually going to strip this one. Because I'm not even going to bother trying to fire it up. It smokes really heavy on startup. The dual mass flywheel is rattling like God knows what. It stalls. It's like I say, it stalls. It smokes. The starter motor doesn't always catch a flywheel. It's just had a brand new starter motor fitted, and all you get is just a horrible whizzing noise, and it just doesn't catch. So this car is going to be the donor for the ST. I will in later videos, because I have got to go and get a gearbox out of the boot of the other one. It's going to replace the one that's on this car, because the gearbox that's actually fitted to the engine on the other car is damaged. I will get into that car a bit more as we're progressing through. Right, so we'll talk about this one for a minute. This is a Mondeo ST TDCi. It's on a 2006 plate. So here we are here. It's got its working Sony 6-disc changer system. I'll let it play for a second because it will. So it all works. Happy, got the code for it. I've got 2 keys. I've got everything for it, so I'm happy. Unfortunately, it has actually got 12 months MOT, this car. Well, I'm sorry, 11 months MOT today actually, which would be the 11th of December. Yeah, 11th of December. So the other reason why I'm sort of marking the date is I've got to get the other car ready and MOT'd by mid-January. So I've got to try and fit it all around Christmas and everything else. So hopefully this car should only really be, on the tools side of it, should only be about 3 or 4 days worth of stripping down. I'm taking the interior. As I say, you'll see why as I progress through the strip of this one. Because there's just the car was just destroyed by the guy that I sold it to, and yeah, I actually sold the car to him in order to buy the Range Rover, and yeah, he showed how much of a friend he was on that one. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but yeah, I basically came back with probably about half a car, bearing in mind that the car had a couple of grand spent on it. So yeah, who needs enemies when you've got friends like mine, eh? Right, so we're going to get into this. So I've got full leather heated and cooled seats, fronts, all leather backs, a bit disgusting, could just do with a clean. The carpets, they're all good. I mean, they're, like I say, filthy, but they'll do. I'm not really taking anything off from the outside, exception of gearbox and stuff under the bonnet. I'll lift the bonnet and show you. Well, you'll see it in probably later videos of me stripping this car down. Yeah, so I've got to basically make it worth me 150 quid, this car, and get as much of it off as possible. What I'm going to do is, with this build in particular, I'm going to actually list how much it's going to cost to fix it. Because if I bought all the bits individually, before I start thinking about the potential of dual mass flywheel and clutch in the other car, I'm probably looking at over £1,000. And I'm going to budget myself to 500 quid. So it's a tall order. I've already just blown through 150 quid's worth of my budget just by buying this car. Then I think it was like 35, 40 quid for a couple of the little bits like the wings, some door handles, because the door handles on the other car were broken. So I've opted to go for the final facelift door handles. I'll show you on this car. So obviously still got to get tyres, potential dual mass flywheel, anything else that it might need that I can't either pull from this car or that I'm going to have to buy new. So I'm hoping that there's not too much suspension damage or suspension components damage rather, and any drivetrain damage, anything like that. So I'm hoping it's just the gearbox that's knackered, because on the other one you actually can't get it into gear. Doesn't matter what you do, it will not go into gear. But it's stuck in a gear because he's bent all the selector forks in the box. So we're going to get straight into this. I'm going to start with ripping out the back seats, but before I do, I'm going to get out and just do a little walk around of this car, so you can see what's there. So yeah, so I'm going to start on the interior first. Also, my garage is full of crap from doing other vehicles, so sort of like the 7 Series, for example. There is over half a car's worth of interior. So what I'm taking out of this, I'm going to replace with all the stuff that's left over from the BMW. So it should clear a lot of the space. All right. I'm going to be left with a few bits and pieces left over from the black car when that comes in. But there's a lot more that I'm taking. Well, the stuff that I'm taking off this car, there's more going on the other one in bits than what's coming off, if you know what I mean. So stuff like exhaust, because there's not even an exhaust on the other car, let alone like bits of trim, like, you know, he's damaged bits like this. There's no stereo. He's wrapped it all this here in a funny colour, even though it was brand new titanium X genuine Ford parts. So this bit here and this and the top pieces for the doors as well, actually managed to separate them on the other car. I mean, for all the genuine titanium X, and he destroyed all of it. The car is actually, like I say, once it's here, once this car's gone, you will see just how bad it is. Like, you're probably thinking, why on earth are you trying to do it? Now, I always said that this channel was doing vehicle builds on a budget. Now, that Range Rover is not what I call doing a vehicle on a budget. So that is getting pushed to the side. Like I say, it could potentially end up being stripped because it's costing so much money to fix that even I can't be arsed with it. And I'm sat here about to rip apart one car to save another. So, like I said, budget 500 quid. So I've cut in 150 quid already just by buying this car. I've got the wings, so I've got the door handles. I've got a couple of other little miscellaneous bits and pieces that I've saved from previous Mondeos and obviously the black one. So I'm off to a good start. I can't use much from the engine on this one because this is the Euro 4 130 brake diesel, whereas the black car is the Euro 3 155 2.2 litre diesel. Personally, I prefer the Euro 3 engines to the Euro 4s, so that's what I'm going to go with. Right, let's get out of this car. You can have a look, and also I can show you what I meant by the last video where I said I wasn't going to be crawling around in floodwater or puddles on my drive over the winter. I've just thrown that rule out the window because I do want the diesel. The other reason for doing this is the BMW. It's not in a good shape at the moment. I've got wobbling brakes, squeak on the back end. I probably showed you this on the last video. Since then, I've had the grille fall out the front, and I ran it over in a petrol station after pressure washing it. I blasted the air off the back, and it's just been sort of used as a van. It doesn't need to be treated like that, so I'm gonna build this Mondeo up to sort of use it as a van, and for doing everything else that I use it for. So let's finish up with the talking. Let's get outside, have a look, and start stripping this thing. So here, it's yeah, very battered. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this actually went for a dodgy MOT rather than anything else. I mean, there's a couple of clean little panels on it, but I mean, it's got stuff like the all the puddle lights, all power fold mirrors, all that. I mean, luckily the black one's already got all that. Some bits on it I've actually sold, so I've probably got at least 50 quid's worth back. We'll go around the other side of this in a minute. But it's just every corner you look, there's damage. Sort of like here where the bumper's been pushed out. Yeah, again, well, actually the doors are pretty clean on this car, so I might be even able to sell those off. So yeah, it's just stuff like the bumpers are damaged. Yeah, it's just been neglected. So yeah, perfect donor car really. Right, I'm going to set the camera up. We're going to start with the back seats and work forward, and hopefully get most of this interior out today. Hopefully, don't know. Let's crack on with it.
You are listening to Jimmy Bass, Jimmy Bass, Jimmy Bass, Jimmy Bass, Jimmy Bass, Jimmy Bass.
Right, so there we are. Seats are out. Well, back seats are disassembled. There they are, all piled up. The reason I piled them up there is I'm going to go in the garage in a minute. I'm going to get some of the rubbish out. I'm going to start transferring it into here, so I've got space to then take the stuff from here and put it in the garage. Hopefully, the next job is to get the front seats movable. So I'm going to disconnect the battery, and then we can leave it for 10 minutes whilst I sort stuff out in the garage. I'm also, with the bolts, I'm going to bag them all. I'm going to write on them where they came from and what size they are, just so I know what I'm doing. Right, so I'm going to do that, pull the battery. I'll do that off camera for a minute. I'm going to sort some stuff out from the garage, yet again off camera, whilst I'm waiting for all the electric, any residual power to drain from the system before I start disconnecting the front seats, because they've got pre-tensioners and airbags. So yeah, I should be back with you in a minute when some of this is loaded. So the more I get into this car, the worse it is. I'm just here disconnecting the battery so I can remove the seats, and look at what I found. That, I'd say, is a burnt earth cable. So I'm surprised that this car didn't go up in flames. Wow. Right, so I'm going to get this battery connected. I'm going to start loading it up with rubbish already. So I'll be back with you in a minute once I've done that. Right. Okay, right, so the battery's been off for a while now. I've stopped a lovely lunch, just sorted some stuff out from the garage. So all of this here has got to go into here. But obviously I haven't yet taken the seats out because I've just been making some space. I've also got to get all of that in there afterwards. Plus, I've got two front seats to go in, well, another two set of front seats to go in that are grey that came out of the Beamer anyway. So hopefully I should have enough floor space by the time I've taken everything out to get all of the rubbish in this car and get it ready for scrap. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the front seats out. I'm going to try and film it. The weather's sort of holding me off, and my other little problem is I have a nice big puddle here, so that's what I mean by I didn't really like lying in the cars in the wet. So, but there we go. So I'm going to get into it, get these seats out, get these carpets out. I'm going to take the centre console out as well. I'm not going to keep the centre console, I'm just going to keep the lid, because as far as I remember, that the black car's one's actually broken. So I'm going to, yeah, going to take that out and see if I can make one good armrest out of two. So I'm going to try and fix 99% of the problems with that car. Hopefully this is going to be a car that allows me to do that. So let's get into it, and yeah, there we go. Right, so it's the end of the day here. I'm not going to do much more. The lights now going, as you can see. Right, interior has been successfully stripped, minus the carpet, which I'm going to do tomorrow. Most of the stuff is now in this car. And the other thing I've done before I close the boot, because I don't intend this boot to be opened again, is remove the rear wiper arm because and the motor itself, because there isn't one on the other one. So I've got that over there, as usual. The bolts are all bagged up. Got the motor there, and I've got the wiper and the arm. So I'm going to have a bit of a clean up, and I'm going to pack it all up for the day, and first thing in the morning I'm going to be back out here again. So guys, I'll see you in the morning. Alright, good morning. We're on day 2. As we left off yesterday, we had the seat stripped out, we took the rear wiper arm and the mechanism out. Today is stripping out this centre console here. So all of this is going to come out. The entire dash, the whole lot is coming out, and the vents. The stalks I may even take. That one there's got to come out. Yeah. And then hopefully we're on to ripping out these carpets. Well, the carpet, because it's a one-piece carpet, thankfully. So I'm not going to mess around. I've only got a few hours to do this, because I want to then load all of the rest of the rubbish into this car and get it ready for the next round, which will be I think after today. I'm not doing massive amount today. It's just a continuation of yesterday of tidying up the general place, getting out what I need out of this interior. Because in the next video I'm going to actually strip off the rear quarter windows, and we're going to take off all the chrome line trim and the door handles, interior and exterior. Then hopefully, because that's the last time then I should have to use the battery, because I'll have to wind the windows down in order to get the rear quarter windows out. So then after then we should never have to use the battery again, so that can come out. And then like I say, in the next video I'll then be able to start stripping down the engine bay in preparation to remove the gearbox out of this thing. I am going to have to take a trip up to my other car to go and get the spare gearbox that is in the boot that was left by the previous owner. I don't trust the gearbox at all, so I'm going to use that as to put in place of this one, because otherwise if I don't put something in place of it, I've then got to take the engine out because it can't stay in the engine bay because there's not enough mounts holding it. So bit of an arse about way of doing it, but it is what it is. Luckily I've got a gearbox on the deck ready to go. So, and by then hopefully all I've got to take off this end is the exhaust. I want to take the rear brake calipers, because these are known to seize on these cars, and this one's actually pretty good. Both calipers are actually very good, so I should be taking those. Also I take the starter motor out because it had a brand new starter motor, so I'll be keeping that. A few other little odds and sods will be kept as well, so yeah, like bumper brackets for the front, just general little tiny bits really. So yeah, let's get into it. 1 hour later, it's out. Now, I did try coaxing it out nicely with radio keys and God knows what other tools I could find. But the ultimate car stereo removal tool happened to be my friend Mr. Ballpain and a lever bar. So basically what I did was smash the centre console out. So what I've done is, yeah, completely destroyed this piece. And luckily, I got the radio out in one piece without breaking it. How, I don't know. I'm just must be very talented with a ball peen hammer and a lever bar. So that's out. I'm going to put the bits away that I want to keep, just so that they're out of the way here. And I'm going to move on to now just getting this carpet out, and we can actually start loading it. Finally, over an hour. In the end, I just not lost my temper, but you know what I mean. I sort of just thought, right, sod it. If you're not going to come out the nice way, it's coming out the horrible way. So sorry, car. It's the first time I've actually had to be nasty to it. So right, let's get this carpet out. Well, I think we had a bit of a victory there. The carpet's out. Obviously, you saw me make 2 cuts into the carpet. That's purely so that it was easy to remove from here without having to take half the dash out. And also, when I come to remove the carpet out of the other car, I'm literally going to slash it into as many small pieces as I possibly can, because obviously that's going to go in the bin. And it will also just make it a lot easier to fit the other carpet. So what I'm going to do now is, off camera, I'm going to load this with more rubbish, just go around, just check, see if there's anything else I need to take off. I know there's a few bits still left, but I mean, I'm not going to bother about it until the next episode. Yeah, so we've got what we needed to do today. Unfortunately, it took me such a long time to get that stereo out. I mean, that really started to annoy me a little bit. So, but it's out, it's safe, we can move on. Yeah, I think I'm going to call the video there. Like and subscribe, do your usual. Next video, I will be removing some of the exterior trims, such as wing mirrors, the chrome line trim from the doors. I think that's about it from the outside, because I say I need to use the battery one more time to drop the rear windows in order to take this out, because these are coming out because this piece of trim runs all the way along. Unlike the pre-facelift ones, they just have black trims and they're known for peeling. I don't need these. This is for a friend of mine that wants them, so we're going to take them from there. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Yeah, again, do your like and subscribing. And yeah, so in the next one, like I said, we'll be removing the exterior trim, and then I can actually start to get under the engine bay and start removing stuff like the battery tray, the gear selector, stuff like that, in preparation to take the gearbox out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you'll also might possibly in the next video see just a glimpse of the black car. I don't know yet. We'll see what timeline I've got whilst filming. If not, you'll see it when I actually start to work on it. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one.